Thank you. Thank you. What acts I have to follow today, all these distinguished speakers, Senator Kennedy, Senator Harkin, Senator Allen, and Congressman Miller. I have met these people, and they have supported this bill and introduced it, and I'm here today to tell you just a little bit about the personal side of it. I hired in with Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company in February 1979 as a supervisor. All I ever expected was to be treated fairly and equally and according to the law. I worked there for 19 years and 20 months, and I did not learn until late in my career, early 1998, that I was being paid so drastically less than the men doing exactly the same job. Someone gave me a note that showed my pay versus the 3 males doing the exact same job. There were 4 crews in Goodyear, A, B, C, D, so we 4 had the exact same job. It shocked me. I lost my composure. I looked, it was sort of like falling. I looked to see if someone was looking at me when I read the note. I didn't see anyone, but I had to regain my composure. I put the note in my pocket. The first day off, I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and filed a charge with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. After getting into the case, and early on, I gave it much thought over the few days that I had to make a decision. If it had been close, if my pay had just been reasonably close to the males, the men, I would have let it go. But after I thought about it, I could not let a big corporation like Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company get away with it. I had to stand up for my rights. It was never about the money. It was always about the right thing to do. But after I filed my charge, the EEOC called and said, "You've got one of the best cases we've ever seen, but you're down in the stack. It'll possibly be 2 years before we could get to your case. If you want to get an attorney, we'll give you the right to sue." And that's what I did. I had no money, but I had to find an attorney and a firm that would take my case on getting 50% of what I got. So you can see my attorneys didn't make very much either, but they put up a good fight. They really did. They have worked hard, and they had a lot of funds invested in my case. We filed the charge. We went to court in 2003. Goodyear appealed to 11th Circuit. They threw it out. We appealed, and the Supreme Court heard us November of 2006. We got the verdict last May, and I have never been so disappointed. I really felt like being heard by the Supreme Court that they would accept it, because it was there in black and white, and there had been a couple of cases already ruled on in favor of the other cases that was similar to mine. But the Supreme Court said, it doesn't matter. You have to file your charge, formal charge, within 6 months after learning or receiving the first paycheck. But an employee like what I was at Goodyear, they had instructed me when I hired in, do not discuss your pay with anyone other than your immediate family. That was a thing that could get you fired. Justice Ginsburg was exactly right about that. After the Supreme Court hearing, there had been so much outpouring on this, and Congressman Miller was exactly right. This not only hurt my ability to support my family, and when I hired in with Goodyear, I was 48 years of age at that time, and I had 2 children, one a senior in high school and one in college. And there was bills to pay, there were cars to buy, there was gas to buy, there was insurance to pay for, a house payment to make. So there were a lot of expenses. Plus, my retirement at Goodyear was based on what I earned. And then I had a contributory retirement, and that was based on what I earned. And then I had a 401k that was based on 10% of what I earned, matched by 6% of Goodyear with Goodyear stock. Then I had, when I finally retired in late November of 1998, I signed up for Social Security later and learned that that also is based on what I earned. So this is treating me like a second-class citizen, not only for the almost 20 years I worked, but for the rest of my life. And my case is over, and I'm sorry to say that this will never do me any good, but I have crisscrossed the states speaking to groups, and I'm definitely not a speaker. I'm a first-line supervisor. But I can tell you personally that my dining room table at home and under it has boxes of correspondence from California to Ohio to New York, any state you want to name in the union, I've got some correspondence. And it's not just first-line supervision. This is professional. I have physicians, I have professors at universities, I have teachers, I've got nurses, I've got any walk of life you want to name, I've got correspondence from. And the amazing thing that I have learned in this, I have picked up so much support from men because they have wives, they've got daughters, they've got granddaughters, or they may have a daughter-in-law. Whatever the case is, today it takes two people earning a living to make the family go with gas and the economy like it is. And I don't see how President Bush, if this gets to him, can veto it because we understand that putting more money into the women's hands will help the economy as well. I've been asked by some reporters, did I wait in the bushes for the big kill? No, there was never a big kill, and it really wasn't about the money in my case, because had I won, or had I been, well, I did win, the jury awarded me $3.8 million. Of course, there was an immediate $300,000 cap. So I was left with $300,000 and $60,000 back pay for the 2 years. That's all you're allowed to go back on equal pay is 2 years. That was what I was left with, and had I received that, my attorneys would have gotten 50%, and then I had already been instructed that I would pay taxes on it because it was in lieu of wages. Now, I wouldn't have had much left out of that in my calculation, so it was never about the money. And I started this in 1998, and I would not give up. And I can't give up because of all of the people that's out there struggling. I get stopped in the stores, I get stopped in the department stores. Any store I want to go in, I can be stopped because people now recognize my picture and they tell me to keep up the fight because they can't do it. In groups I've spoke with, it has been a shock to me, even in my hometown. People would come out of the audience and say, I worked for the university and they never paid me fairly. But they never said anything. I think the reason this problem has gone on so long, no one has really realized how bad it is. I was born and reared in Alabama, and I thought it was a southern problem, but it's a national problem. I can tell you that. And I thank you very much, and please support these people that's working for the hardworking American people because it gets harder every day to make a living and support your family. Thank you very much.